Welcome everybody to my little makeshift office. This is my dinner table. I'm planning on maybe making this actually into a little bit of an office. Like put some stuff on the walls when our stuff gets here, put my desk in here. Maybe me and Courtney can make some videos in here. I can do some videos in here. I don't know. This room's definitely got potential. It'll be pretty cool to see what it turns out to be. But as for today, we're gonna have to enjoy it naked. So today you guys are here because we're going to be talking about buying a car. So this is something that one of you guys actually inquired about because you know that I've been selling cars for a couple of years and I no longer do that right now. So this is a completely unbiased kind of thing. And you know that I've bought a few cars and you were like, hey Robbie, how do I go about buying a car? What kind of negotiating things should I do? Today I'm not going to be saying I'm better than anybody else or telling you I know everything, but I'm going to give you my kind of side and what I feel like you guys should know going into buying a car, whether it's your first car, second car, I don't even care if it's your third car. There still might be some things that you can use to get a little bit of a better deal or at least just a more comfortable purchase. But before I get any farther into this video and tell you guys everything that I have to tell you, I would like if you went right down there and subscribed if you're not already subscribed to make sure that you don't miss any more awesome content that is going to be coming your way. So I've sold cars for a couple of years and it's all Canadian experience, so not to say that this doesn't pass over into the States at all, because it really does. It's the same industry no matter where you go. But some little things that I notice here and say might not be exactly the same that you guys see in the States. And it might not even be the same overseas because I know lots of you guys are from Australia and stuff, which is pretty cool. And I don't know how it all works there. I actually have no idea. I know in the States at least it's pretty close to Canada, but as far as what happens over there, I really have no idea. So the first thing I'm going to be telling you guys is that when you're buying a car, you don't have to know exactly what you want, every option. Like, you don't need to know it all laid out, but have a general idea of what you want. Like when I bought my BRZ, I watched plenty of videos on the internet. I did plenty of research myself. When I went in there, I was like, look, I want a Sport Tech BRZ. But if you go in there with a little bit of knowledge, you're less likely to be misled by whoever you're buying the car from, because lots of times people are just wanting to sell you the car and they may not necessarily give you all the truths. If they have one on the lot that's like a couple features away from what you're looking for, they might just try and talk you out of buying that one. And if there's something that you really, really want, don't let somebody bully you out of getting that. Now, not to say that I'm the best at selling cars or I had a great career or anything like that, because I really didn't and I wasn't the best. But when someone came in and they were like, hey, I want a Lariat F-150, and I was like, well, why do you want a Lariat? And they were like, oh, I just like leather. I would get them a 302A and then put leather in it. So it wasn't actually a Lariat, and that's the kind of thing I'm trying to tell you guys to avoid. Maybe you did actually want the Lariat, you just didn't want to say it was for the prestige or whatever it is. If that's just for the leather, then that makes sense, but just examples like that where if I don't have a Lariat, I might have tried to put you in something else, and I made it as close as possible, but for some people, they just want that Lariat, but they're afraid to say, like, there is no reason, I just really want that specific model. Coming from the purchasing side, don't let anybody kind of bully you out of getting exactly what you want. Unless it makes sense. If it makes sense, that's fine. Now, number two is a tip coming from having bought a couple cars and experienced different types of salespeople as well as working with different types of salespeople. And I know exactly why this one is a very big key. So when you walk into a dealership, don't just walk into the front desk and say, hey, I'm here for a salesman, or walk up to the first person you see and say, hey, I'm here because I want to buy a brand new car. Because you don't want just sales experience, you want the best experience that you can have when you're in there. What I would recommend you doing is go in there and just go to the lot or go to the showroom and just poke around, see what you see. Walk outside, because then you're a distance away from the showroom inside, and just walk around, browse the cars, even if it's not the car you want. You go there for a BRZ, start looking at an Impreza, look at a Crosstrek. Look around, see what you see, because somebody will come out to you. And that person that came out to you is more than likely going to give you a better sales experience than the person who sat inside and let you walk the lot. And that's not to say that there's not great salespeople inside or great salespeople that don't go outside, and some places don't want you to do that, which is fine, but I just have seen that the people that sit inside and just kind of sit at their desk and, oh yeah, there's someone on the lot, yeah, I'll see them when they come in, versus the people that are like, oh, there's someone on the lot, and they walk outside to help you, they're usually willing to give a little bit extra, whereas the people that didn't really get up from their desk usually just kind of want to make a sale, pass it through, get it done. They don't want to go that extra little step. And that may sound a little bit funny to you guys, but that's just something I recommend just to make sure that you get the better service. I mean, you can really go about going into a dealership however you want. If you know somebody in there, you don't have to do that. But I personally walk outside, walk around the lot, get someone to come out to find me, because that person's somebody who is gonna give you a little bit extra. If it gets tiring, come inside, but I would recommend at least trying to start outside. Second thing that links with that is to know your budget. Make sure that you know exactly how much you're wanting to spend, even if you go, okay, I can spend exactly $20,000, and you know what, I could probably afford to go $2,000 higher. Know what you can spend before you walk in, because for instance, if you go in there to buy a truck, you can buy a truck from like $30,000 to $100,000. There's a huge spread, and you're going to spend a lot of time just weeding out options if you don't already know kind of what you can spend, because people that sell these things know how much they cost. So if you come in and you say, look, I can spend $60,000, someone's going to put you in a truck that costs $60,000. Say your budget's $300 bi-weekly. If you go in and say, hey, I can spend $250 bi-weekly, they'll try and put you into something that's probably a little bit more anyways and be like, oh look, what if it's just $15 more, but now you can afford it. Because a lot of ways salespeople work it, they'll go, okay, you can spend $250,000, okay, let's try and get you that full $250,000. Then you'll start noticing a couple options maybe you want on top of that. Oh yeah, I can get you that for $275,000. If your budget was actually $300,000 and you didn't tell them that, you told them $250,000, you're comfortable, you have room to work, and you'll be okay. And another thing is, if you're going in to buy a very hot car, expect to get a very cold deal. There's not usually too much markup in it because the vehicle's already so expensive. So they can't mark it up too much, or they won't even be able to sell it. So just know that when you're going in there expecting to get a huge deal on like a $30,000 car, you're probably not getting one. And even if it's a little bit more of an expensive car, if it's a very, very high performance or very nice car, there's not usually a whole lot of budget room in those. I would go in there and just say, look, I can spend $250 bi-weekly. I want to get a brand new BRZ. How can I do that? Because if you go in there and say, I want to spend $250 bi-weekly, I want it on a 3-year term, that's not realistic. You can't do that. Then you're just going to be going back and forth over something stupid. You need to just go in there, say what your budget is, say what the car is you're looking for, and let them sell you the car. Because in the end of the day, if they want to make any money, because that's how salespeople work, they will find a car that makes sense for you and fits in your budget and does all that kind of stuff. So if you kind of put it on the table and leave it up to them, it's less stress on you, and you're still going to get yourself a good car that you wanted in the first place. Another thing you should do is try and find out what other people got as far as deals. So if you say, okay, Robbie, you bought a BRZ. I want to buy a BRZ. How much do you pay? What's your deal? What's your scenario? Because if you see, okay, Robbie got $250, I want to go in there and get $200. Probably can't do that because, for instance, a BRZ is one of those cars, there's not a lot of markup in it. There's not a lot of room in those cars. You can't really knock off a whole lot. So just kind of make sure that your expectations are reasonable with what other people are getting versus what you think you're gonna get. Be friendly to people, because when you go in there, if you're very nice to the people and you're nice to your salesperson and you try and grow a little bit of a relationship, they're more inclined to be nice to you, give you things, give you a better deal, give you maybe throw in floor mats, something like that. They're more inclined to be nice to you if they actually like you. So just do your best to be friendly with them. Don't go in there and start fights with people, because that never actually gets you anywhere. You may be all hot-headed and think that you're the best. Don't start fights. That's all I'm trying to say. That's not gonna get you anywhere. And when it comes to negotiating, that's kind of my tactic. Like I told you earlier, I just let the salesperson do the work. So I go in there, I tell them my budget, I tell them the car I want, and I tell them kind of, okay, I would like to only finance it for maybe maximum 5 years. And let them do the work. That's their job. It's not your job to stress about that kind of stuff. You have to go in there with a lot of knowledge. You have to know kind of where you can be, how much you can spend, all that, but let them work it out for you. And if it's not working, don't be scared to go home. Don't be scared to say, you know what, I'm gonna shop around, because a salesperson hates nothing more than losing a sale, especially if they think that you're going to another dealership. So if you go in there and you're like, hey, I appreciate your time and whatever, you got me to $330 bi-weekly, I wanted to be around $300, I'm gonna shop around. That could be a line in itself where they're like, you know what, let me try one more thing, let me do this, let me do that. They'll try and get you into there. But you do have to keep in mind like what's reasonable and what's not. So don't be walking home expecting them to just give you a car because you said you're gonna walk home. But if you feel like it might not be reasonable, try a line like that. Say, you know what, I'm gonna shop around. They will hit you with probably their best deal. And worst case, don't be scared to go home. One of the best things that you can do is just this, it's the salesperson's job. Let them sell you. So if you're like, okay, $330 bi-weekly, you know what, I'm gonna shop around. He goes, all right, you know what, you like have fun shopping around, that's the best deal I can do for you, da-da-da-da, go home. So just say, you know what, call me tomorrow, I'm gonna go shop around and see what I find. When they call you, just be like, hey, you know what, I did shop around, is there anything else you guys can do for me, kind of to give me that car? Because I liked your experience, I like dealing with you, I like your dealership, something like that. Like, hey, you know what, I liked you, what can you guys do for me so that I go to you instead of somewhere else? And more, 10 times out of 10, they should be like, you know, we'll give you this, or we'll do this, or we'll take $20 more off, or we'll give you something. They'll do something that will make it worth your time to go back there. And if they don't, chances are they've already given you like the best deal that exists, or you don't want to go to that dealership. You would probably benefit from going somewhere else. You just have to feel that situation out for yourself. If you think something's going too fast, it probably is, because everybody moves at their own pace, everybody's different, everybody's allowed to be different. So if you're like, you know what, I'm not comfortable with buying this car right here, right now, don't get pressured into buying it. Don't let them tell you, oh, yeah, the deal's gonna get, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you pay maybe $5 more a month. If you're more comfortable with buying that car in 2 months than you are right now, even though right now is a better deal, just hold off, because someone else can't tell you what's best for you, only you can. And if you feel like you're not comfortable with it, or something's going too fast, or you're not 100% certain on that car, don't let somebody bully you into buying that car. Just make sure that you're happy first, take your time, do everything slowly. That's what I recommend. I know it's exciting when you're trying to buy a car and you really want one right now and you want to drive it home tomorrow, but it doesn't always work that way. Now, like I said, buying cars probably all around the world is different. So down there in the comments, I want you guys to treat it like a forum and talk to each other. And say, hey, you know what, I live in Australia and this is how this goes here. Even I live in the States and it's a little bit different here in this aspect. That's fine. It's good if you guys help each other because that's the best resource that you guys probably have. And that's really it. So hopefully that helps some of you guys, or at least put you guys at ease before you go in there and buy a car. Just do everything that I mentioned. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any more awesome content. And please go down there and help each other out in the comments because everywhere's different and I can't speak for everywhere. I can only speak for what I know and from what I know. And there may be things that I didn't even say that you guys know that you want to add. So by any means, go down there, have some fun. Be sure you're subscribed and be sure to come back tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go open my P.O. box now that we're finally here and a little bit more settled. And it would be cool for you guys to be able to communicate, send me stuff, whatever, all the way out here. So that's it. I hope this helped you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.